Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Police High Command saddened by death of Corporal in St. Anne. The Police High Command is expressing condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of Corporal Hampton Russell, who was killed in a crash on the Richmond Main Road in St. Anne on Sunday. Russell was assigned to the St. Anne Division. Reports were that about 8 p.m., Corporal Russell was driving a Nissan motor car with another man identified as Akim Fulton on board. Lawmen say Corporal Russell was driving his motor vehicle in a westerly direction along the Richmond Main Road when the driver of a Toyota Axio motor car, which was proceeding in the opposite direction, overtook a line of traffic and collided head-on with the Nissan. Both Corporal Russell and Fulton received multiple injuries and were pronounced dead on arrival at St. Ansby Hospital.
We have observed that we have had a number of crashes on our roads. In fact, about 5 persons have died as a result of road traffic crashes. In other instances, persons have suffered serious injuries. One of the things that we have noted is that a number of drivers have been tested and have proven to be driving with excess alcohol on their breath. We have also noticed that persons are driving and are not keeping in their lanes, meaning that they are not driving to the left of the road, are driving to the right, and in some instances, it has resulted in traffic crashes.
3 stabbed to death at the weekend. At least 3 people were stabbed to death across the island over the weekend. In the latest incident, about 1 o'clock on Sunday, 24-year-old Stephen McLaughlin was stabbed to death in Christiana, Manchester. Police say McLaughlin and another man had an altercation when they both pulled knives at each other. It is reported that McLaughlin was later found with stab wounds in his chest. He was pronounced dead at hospital. In the other incident on Saturday, 30-year-old Anthony Henry, a chef of Page District in Port Maria, St. Mary, was stabbed to death by a man in his community. Police say about 7 p.m., Henry was stabbed after a dispute developed between him and the other man. The police were alerted and Henry was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. In the third incident, 27-year-old Roger Kelly, otherwise called Jigger, a musician of Dunoon Avenue, Kingston 2, was stabbed to death by a woman in Wallington Town, Kingston. Police say that about 10 p.m. on Friday, Kelly got into an argument with a woman when another woman intervened and stabbed him with a pair of scissors. The police were summoned and he was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police are investigating the incidents. Hopewell High School principal released from custody. The principal of Hopewell High School in Hanover, who was taken into custody last week as a person of interest following the murder of the school's bursar, has been released. Reporters were informed that the principal was released Friday evening after several days in custody. He was questioned about the shooting death of the bursar, 35-year-old Jermaine Roberts. Mr. Roberts was shot on the school compound on Wednesday about 3:20 p.m. The police was informed that the attack was carried out by an unidentified person who witnesses described as approximately 6 feet 2 inches tall, wearing a floral hoodie. The principal was reported wounded in the attack and was taken to hospital for treatment. Head of the Area 1 headquarters, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, told reporters that the principal was listed as a person of interest as the cops tried to identify the person who carried out the gun attack. In the meantime, Leighton Johnson, president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, says the association is closely monitoring the situation at the school, adding that the association is deeply concerned about the unfolding events. Some Westmoreland hotel workers concerned about safety amid surge in crime, Tourism Ministry addressing concern. With the busy Christmas season now in full swing, some hotel workers in Westmoreland are hoping for a safer means of transportation to and from work. This following a recent surge in crime and violence in the tourism destination, which has recorded 113 murders since January. One woman who worked at a resort in the parish said she works during the night and is often unable to source safe transportation to and from work, as many taxi operators have withdrawn their services due to safety concerns. The hotel worker expressed concern that more criminals will be out in the towns as the Christmas season gets busier. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, Robin Russell, acknowledged that some members are affected by crime significantly. He said efforts are being made to ensure that tourists and hotel workers are safe. Senior advisor and strategist in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Severite, said hoteliers are encouraged to help transportation system in place for their work. He said attention is being placed to the issue to ensure measures are put in place for employees.
We do know too that there are difficult situations for quite a number of workers who live in communities plagued by violence or have to commute through communities that have issues with violence. And as such, we have always encouraged tourism establishments to ensure that the safety of their worker is paramount and that they put in place the necessary transportation arrangements where necessary to ensure that workers at least have a sense of safety and security when heading home or coming from home to their establishment to work. We continue to pay focus to it, and if there are any issues or concerns by workers, they are of course free to reach out to any of us at the Ministry of Tourism and any of our agencies, including the Tourism Product Development Company Limited, who have representatives across the island to discuss these issues, and we will seek to engage where necessary.
Bunting labels Prime Minister a slow learner on crime prevention. While charging that Andrew Holness-led administration is bankrupt of ideas to bring crime and violence under control, Opposition Senator Peter Bunting has highlighted that 2,300 more Jamaicans have been killed in the last 8 years since the Jamaica Labour Party has been in power. Mapping the number of persons killed in the last 16 years across the different administrations, Bunting pointed out that during the People's National Party tenure, 2012 to 2015, there was an average murder rate of 1,129 in comparison to an average of 1,416 murders over the JLP's current 8-year reign. On average, 287 more Jamaicans have been murdered each year under the JLP administration than during the previous PNP administration. A whopping 25% increase in the annual murder rate between the two periods. That means 2,300 more Jamaicans have been murdered over the last 8 years. That's if this JLP administration had just maintained the rate that was obtained under the previous 2012 to 2015 PNP administration, the senator asserted during the State of National debate last Thursday in the Senate. According to Bunting, the opposition take no joy in publicizing the information, but there are vast interests including the Holness political administration, its cronies, and apologists who have preferred if the PNP remains silent on the matter. He added, however, we cannot talk about good governance, about accountability, yet hide the Andrew Holness administration's abject failure at fighting violent crime. The opposition cannot be complicit in manufacturing the consent of the people against their own interest. We owe it not just to the memory of the 1,000 murders, but to the 10 of the 1,000 of grieving relatives and friends, to terrify 18 communities, to the environment of the fear that causes people to take for themselves if they see an armed cash delivery vehicle in the vicinity, he stated. Bunting said the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF crime statistics for January to December 16 show that 1,349 persons have been killed, which is an 8% reduction over the corresponding period last year. However, he said the government and the JCF have failed to highlight that last year's stats had the second highest number since the May 2010 Tivoli incursion. At the current rate, he said that the projections are that there will be approximately 1,400 murders. But while noting that the JCF and Police Commissioner have been touting and celebrating the monthly reduction in murder over the several months, Bunting said there have been public confusion and disbelief as the daily reports of multiple killings do not accord with the reduction. In the same vein, he said the daily reports of murders further believe the administration reliance on the use of states of emergency as effective crime-fighting strategies and their supposed success. He then pointed to several recent high-profile murders, including the murder of Moody siblings in Westmoreland, well-known businessman Williams Baba Roots Webb at his home in Darliston in Westmoreland, and last Wednesday's murder of the Hopewell High School bursar outside the school gate, which have taken place while an SOE was in place. These incidents highlight an administration bankrupt of ideas that continue to rely solely on ineffective emergency measures to curb the deeply rooted issue of crime and violence, he stated. If the opposition was asked what it would do differently or what it was doing differently when the murder rate was just over 1,000. Bountin said the PNP, with fewer resources and less manpower in the security forces, had recognized that crime prevention efforts and social investment were as important or even more important long-term than crime control or suppression efforts. With that realization, he said the PNP has instituted the Unite for Change program, which the JLP abandoned along with other social programs like the Peace Management Initiative and the Citizen Security and Justice program. He said every crime prevention initiative was abandoned and all the ministry's resources were redirected to the failed policy of the militarization of policing and the serial and routine use of SOEs.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification